Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, everybody! It's your old buddy Santa J here, coming at you with another episode of Countermeasures! Ho, ho, ho! This week, I would like to take a look at the top 10 designs of 2020. So come with me and climb into my big sack, and we'll look at all the best designs over the last year. Hooray! Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Number 10.
The first one I'd like to talk about is the Mouldy Whopper. So earlier on this year, Burger King released an ad campaign which had a whole series of images which were, showing how their natural ingredients that are put into all of their burgers actually degrades over time. I think it was over 35 days, I believe. This created a whole load of really interesting images and, emphasised the fact that in the fast food industry they use an incredible amount of additives, and those additives then mean that your cheeseburger from McDonald's can sit on your shelf for 2 or 3 years and look and taste pretty much exactly the same. So Burger King, looked at this and thought, well, actually, we want to show everybody that we don't use preservatives in that way and that we've removed them, and that we use all our ingredients completely natural. So they went through this process, created this short film, and and obviously created all these really interesting images, which are gross and beautiful at the same time. I really like the way they broke the mold with this one, and I really thought that it was worth putting on my top 10 list there, this year. So hats off to these guys.
Number 9.
So Jihua, which is a book about plant art paintings, and botanicals. It records the innovation and inheritance of 4 generations of plant painters over the last 100 years. It was just a really interesting piece of print, and I enjoyed the way that they'd used the slipcase, the use of green symbolising the vegetation on the covers, all of the natural textures within this book. They have a lot of gilding dots and impressed filaments in this book, and also the quality of the paper sort of changes throughout from it's all very tactile and touchy-feely, and obviously I love a bit of print, so I had to get one of these onto the top 10 of 2020 list, and this is it. So big thumbs up for this one.
Number 8.
So Subjective is a wine which has been created for 13th Street Winery, and this was designed by IG2 Toronto, who really great studio, and they have created a lot of good brand packaging in the past. The theme behind this one, the concept behind this one, is that basically there are 12 different types of wines, and each bottle looks exactly the same, so that you are just focusing on what the wine tastes like without bringing any of your kind of previous experience of wines, or if you have any predisposition against for one wine against another, this removes all of that. So you basically just drink the wine, and then as you drink the wine, what happens is the wine's removed from the bottle, and the light shines through the bottle and then reveals what kind of wine it is you're drinking. So it actually means that that kind of use of clever typography, it means that you're not affected by any external influences. You just are purely engaging with yourself and the wine, what you're drinking, without any previous experience that you've had with other types of wine of that particular if you're Pinot Noirs or Merlots or whatever, you're not skewered in any way by tasting this wine, which I'm sure there's a fun guessing game going on while you're drinking this, and I just really love the packaging for this one.
Number 7.
So with this one, it is the client is KMSZ, which is a bone marrow donation centre, and basically every day 2 children in Germany are diagnosed with blood cancer. So their only chance of survival really is stem cell donation, and they need young donors which are between 18 to 30, and they are statistically the best candidates. However, the problem is that not enough young people are taking action or are aware of this. So this campaign by BBDO NGO group in Germany is kind of skewered towards trying to raise that awareness. So they saw a new way in just how to to try and introduce a new way to get people involved. So they introduced the Life Lolly, which I just thought was an excellent idea. It is a heart-shaped lollipop that provides a tasty way to collect DNA. So you eat your lollipop and then it collects your DNA. So there's this whole kind of thing of like, here's your reward, and then you can or you can also sample your DNA as well. And yeah, I think this has been an incredibly successful campaign.
Number 6.
Although I have typically female biological sex characteristics, my gender identity is non-binary. I am not a man or a woman.
Q, the genderless voice, is the next one, and this was for Copenhagen Pride, and it was created by Virtue. And basically, the argument is that a lot of technology today has male or female voices, whereas transgender, third gender options are not really being recognised as strongly across the globe, and this is something that obviously technology isn't reflecting. So the Q, the genderless voice, is actually the first genderless voice for AI assistants. So since it's been launched, Q has been added to the UNESCO report, so the UNESCO report. I definitely said that wrong. And it's a real step forward in accepting the fact that some people identify as non-binary. So take a look at this movie and let me know what you think.
People expect a female voice. Sometimes we go back to these stereotypes, and what happens is we're reinforcing them. We're not changing them. There's no reason we can't have more options.
Audio researchers defined a frequency range which is neutral. We recorded several voices, worked on the pitch, we worked on the format filter, and we worked on the tone of the voice. We tested several different voices on thousands of people to create a gender-neutral voice.
Yeah, society always wants to put you in a box.
I hope that
people would not assume gender based on voices more in the future.
things move into a genderless world.
My voice is more than a pre-assigned gender.
My voice is more than a box to click.
My voice is more than this
or that. It's everything in between.
It's a voice of progression.
A voice of hope.
A voice that moves us forward when others are looking back.
Hi, I'm Q.
Number 5.
Santander released this campaign earlier this year called In Someone Else's Shoes, which is basically about how domestic violence affects everyone in 4 women, and partly one of the main reasons that they can't escape this situation is because of finances, and usually their partners take control of that, which ultimately takes control of them. So this is a launch from Santander by Arnold Worldwide, and it was called in Someone Else's Shoes, and it's basically promoting a micro lending program which is designed to help women to reclaim their financial freedom, just to raise awareness by of this thing that is very important issue in the world today. And they built Arnold Worldwide built The Home, and it's basically a immersive experience in the heart of New York City's financial district, which is where it was set up, and the stories are all about real situations, real survivor stories, and you just follow this audio journey while you wander around the house. And I just really like the kind of interactivity of this one and the immersion of it. Because if you've ever had any of those audio headsets on when you're wandering around, various exhibitions, it's has a very impactful way to learn a lot. And I think with something as powerful and as important as this topic, it looks really looks like it really had a strong impact. Now, my only regret is that I didn't get to go around it because it was in New York, but I can appreciate the thought and the design and the concepts that had to be really pushed in order to make this work. So yeah, I really like this one.
Number 4!
So the Illegal Blood Bank is a campaign which was run by Elvis for the Lad Bible Group. Now, 1 in 4 of us depend on donated blood to stay alive, and this campaign basically emphasises the how bisexual and sexually active gay men currently are banned from giving blood. So this is this whole campaign was created, and the blood bank itself was actually created to pressure the government to change the law. Elvis and the Lad Bible Group, they opened the Illegal Blood Bank. It was the world's first blood bank for gay and bisexual men. And in one day, they collected enough blood to save 78 lives. So NHS are now investigating, into their pioneering new process. So I think that raising awareness for this completely ridiculous ban on gay and bisexual men is incredibly important, and this campaign absolutely smashed it. So yeah, I really like this one too.
Number 3!
So we're in the top 3 now, and this next piece is the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum, which was for Hiroshima City. It was designed by Tanshisha. I'm definitely going to say that wrong. I can't pronounce any Japanese names. And it was obviously based in Japan. This was a total renovation of the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum. So the main building and the subsequent buildings around that. And Tanshisha Co. tried to use the victims' perspectives to evoke the memory of these horrors. They divided the space into 2 main areas. So the main building was split into 2 main areas. One which was a group exhibition, which makes August 6th the scene of the tragedy, retracing the victims' journeys. So the other side of the exhibition were a whole load of individual grief exhibitions with visitors had to confront their despair while wandering around this. There's a series of landscapes formed of the memories and records, and the space then lets the cries of each survivor resonate with the people worldwide. Now, I would really love to take a look around this museum. It does look incredible, I really thought it was worthy of being in the top 3. And design is so flexible. It can go from anything from a pin badge to a building to an aircraft. But in this case, the weight of emotion that it has to invoke through the way that it's all put together, the way the concept works, the way that it takes you on a journey while you're in this space. I really thought it was worthy of the top 3. So excellent example of great design.
Number 2!
So Channel 4 receive hundreds of complaints every single day, and in this campaign I really love the way that they took all of those complaints and spun them on their head. So basically this campaign was called Complaints Welcome, created by 4 Creative, and it was obviously for Channel 4. It was in the UK, and they just came up with a whole load of really interesting scenarios, often with the people who the quotes and the kind of complaints were aimed at. And I really love the way that they took these the kind of the trolls and threw their comments back at them and used them in a creative and interesting way. Really love this one. I like the impact of this one. I like the way that it's all filmed in a very kind of short cuts, and they got to get a few famous people in there as well and really raise awareness of firstly Channel 4's attitude to broadcasting, which has been something that has been really excellent throughout my entire life. I really emphasize the kind of channel they are and what they stand for. So really like this one.
I'm not homophobic, but do we have to have gay kissing at dinner time?
Tell Prue not to talk with her mouth full. So uncouth. He's too posh.
Too black.
Too much Botox.
She looks like Tom Cruise.
It wouldn't be so bad if he tried to make himself look like a normal woman.
He looks like a walrus.
It's boring.
Like, Channel 4 is incompetent on many different levels.
It's just inappropriate.
Alex Brooker's arms make me want to puke.
The arms are fine, but the back hair could do with a trim.
I mean, this just confirms my suspicion that women aren't funny.
Shush. Her outfit is totally inappropriate. Whatever.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
They're not real athletes.
No.
The man's got sausage fingers.
Those gears need subtitles.
Hardly.
Me?
Sorry, Mo. No one's actually complained about you.
Number 1!
And here we are, the Uno example of design, the best design that I feel personally, in my opinion, so nobody else's opinion, just my opinion, is that, yeah, an example of the best design of the year for me. So number 1 goes to the Gun Violence History Book. Now this was created by FCB Chicago, and the client was Illinois Council Against Handgun Violence. Now, for over a century, gun violence has been a deadly issue in the USA. So obviously, it's all based in the United States, obviously. So one of the reasons for the issue with the gun violence and there is a loophole in the law over there. So basically FCB Chicago created a campaign. They had virtually no budget, where they could gather some support for universal background checks on people, which would then help close that loophole in the American law, preventing people who shouldn't have guns, not to be having guns, which sounds like a great idea to me. So there's a massive amount of gun violence in America. And what I liked about this is, obviously, firstly, it's a print-based project, which, I'm always going to be for. I absolutely love print. I've always loved print. A lot of the design work I do is in print. And this book really is something that I like the idea of what they did here, which was basically they collected enough history of gun violence that each copy was then shot with a handgun, and the idea is that a simple concept, which is what I love, which is that the idea is that the book can stop a bullet. Which kind of goes along with the whole concept of, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to prevent people being shot, is trying to prevent unnecessary gun violence. And I just thought this was a really, really great project, something that I would have absolutely loved to have been involved, because any projects that come up like this, it's the potential for doing something creative like this with not very big budget, I think is testament to the really, really brilliant idea behind it. And I love this one, and it is my number 1 design of 2020.
Ho, ho, ho! And there you have it! Some of the best designs in the world ever! I hope you enjoyed yourself in 2020. I know I didn't. I hope you have an amazing 2021. Merry Christmas to one and all! Ho, ho, ho! And a Happy New Year!